there are nights when silence feels louder than the world. When you sit alone, pretending you've moved on, pretending their name no longer shakes your soul. But then a song starts playing. Just a simple melody. And suddenly, every memory comes back like it never left. You remember the way they laughed. The way they looked at you when words weren't needed. The late-night conversations that felt like forever. And, no matter how hard you try to forget them, love has a strange way of hiding inside music. Tonight, this speech is for the hearts that tried to heal quietly, for the people who smiled in front of everyone, but still break inside when that one song begins to play, because sometimes you don't miss the person anymore. You miss the feeling they gave you, and every song becomes a doorway, leading back to the love you were never truly ready to lose. There was a time when I believed forgetting someone was simple. People always say, just move on. As if the heart is some machine, with a switch you can turn off whenever the memories become too heavy, as if love can disappear, just because time keeps moving. I listened to those words for months. I tried to believe them. I tried to become stronger than the memories you left inside me. I deleted our pictures one night while staring at my phone in complete silence. My hands were shaking the entire time. I remember pausing before deleting the last photo, because deep inside me, I knew that once it disappeared, I would have nothing left except memories, and memories are dangerous, because they never truly leave. They hide in places you don't expect, in empty rooms, in quiet nights, in random streets, in old conversations, and sometimes, inside songs. I stopped going to places that reminded me of you. I changed my routine. I forced myself to stay busy. I laughed louder around people so nobody would notice how broken I still felt inside. I told everyone I was okay, because I was tired of explaining pain nobody could really understand. Some nights I even convinced myself that I had finally healed. That maybe your name no longer had power over me. Then a song would start playing, and suddenly, there you were again, not physically, not standing in front of me, but everywhere inside my heart. It's strange how music works. A 3-minute song can reopen wounds you spent months trying to close. One melody, one lyric, one familiar sound, and suddenly I'm back in those moments with you again. I can hear your laugh in my head. I can see the way you looked at me when the world felt quiet around us. I can still remember how your hand felt in mine like it belonged there. There are songs I can't listen to anymore because they know too much about us, that played during late-night drives. Songs we sang badly together, songs that once made me smile, but now leave me sitting alone staring at the ceiling wondering why love has to hurt this much when it's over. I tried everything to forget you. I tried meeting new people. I tried pretending that what we had wasn't real. I tried acting cold whenever someone mentioned your name. I even tried blaming you for everything, because anger felt easier than sadness. But none of it worked, because no matter how far I ran from the memories, music always found a way to bring me back to you. And maybe that's what hurts the most, not the breakup itself, not the silence between us now, but the fact that pieces of you still exist in things I can't escape, in grocery stores, in cafes, in random radio stations. In the middle of the night, when I can't quite sleep and some old song starts playing, softly from another room. People think heartbreak is loud. They think it's crying, screaming, begging someone to stay. But sometimes heartbreak is much quieter than that. Sometimes it's just sitting in your car unable to drive, because a song reminded you of someone who no longer belongs to your life. I remember one night specifically. It was raining outside. The city looked blurry through the car windows, and I had nowhere important to be. I was driving without direction, just trying to clear my head after another exhausting day of pretending I didn't miss you. Then our song started playing unexpectedly. And I froze. My hands tightened around the steering wheel while every memory came rushing back at once. I remembered your smile when you first showed me that song. I remembered how you leaned your head against the window while humming the lyrics softly. I remembered the exact way your eyes looked under the city lights, and for a moment, it felt like I lost you all over again. That's the cruel thing about memories. They don't knock before entering your heart, they arrive suddenly. Without permission. I used to wonder if you ever experienced the same thing. Do songs still remind you of me too? Do you ever hear my favorite artist playing somewhere, and suddenly feel your chest tighten? Do you ever stop what you're doing because a lyric sounds too much like us? Or am I the only one still haunted by melodies? There are nights when I wish I could erase every song connected to you. I wish I could listen to music without feeling my heart collapse inside my chest. But another part of me is afraid of forgetting completely. Because if the songs disappear, maybe the memories disappear too, and as painful as it is to remember you, it's even more painful imagining a world where you become a stranger inside my mind. Love is strange like that. The people who hurt us the most are often the same people we desperately try not to forget. I remember how safe your voice used to make me feel. Back then, even silence felt peaceful when you were beside me. We could sit together without speaking for hours, and somehow it still felt like home. Now silence feels different. Now silence echoes. Now silence reminds me that your absence has become permanent. I think that's why music hurts so much, because songs fill silence, and every time silence gets filled, your memory returns with it. Sometimes I catch myself replaying old voice messages just to hear your laugh again. Not because I expect you to come back, but because some part of my heart still refuses to accept that someone who once meant everything to me and suddenly become unreachable. People say time heals everything. But I don't think time heals. I think time teaches you how to carry pain without collapsing under it, because even after all this time, your memory still finds me in unexpected moments, while walking alone at night, while watching sunsets you would have loved, while hearing strangers laugh in ways that sound like you, and, especially through music. There's one song I heard recently while shopping alone. Nothing special about the day. I was just standing there pretending to care about things I didn't actually need, when suddenly the chorus started playing, through the speakers overhead. My heart stopped instantly. I hadn't heard that song in months. But the second it played, I remembered everything, the late-night drive when you held my hand while it played through the radio. The way you sang the wrong lyrics, confidently. The way we laughed afterward until tears filled our eyes, and there I was months later, standing in the middle of a crowded store trying not to fall apart because a song such remembered you before I could stop it. That's what people don't understand about heartbreak. You don't just lose a person, you lose versions of yourself that only existed with them, the version of me that laughed freely, the version of me that believed forever was real. The version of me that looked at love without fear. You took those versions with you when you left. Now every song feels like a conversation between my past and present self. One side remembering how deeply I loved you. The other side trying to survive without you. And honestly, some days I don't know which side wins. There are moments I hate myself for still caring this much. I tell myself I should be over it by now. I should moved on. I should stop romanticizing memories that no longer matter. But healing isn't linear. Some wounds close slowly. Some loves stay inside you longer than you expected. You were never just another person to me. You became part of my routine, part of my thoughts, part of the future I imagined every night before sleeping. Losing you felt like losing a direction I didn't realize I depended on. And music keeps reminding me of that future. Every love song feels personal now. Every sad lyric feels written for us. Every soft melody feels like a memory trying to breathe again. Sometimes I sit alone late at night listening to songs we used to love, wondering if somewhere out there you're doing the same thing. Maybe you've completely forgotten me. Maybe you hear those songs and feel nothing at all now. But I still feel everything. I still remember how your eyes looked when you were happy. I still remember the warmth of your hand. I still remember the promises we made when we believed love alone could keep people together. Maybe that was our mistake. We believed love was enough, but love without timing, without healing, without understanding, slowly breaks apart no matter how beautiful it once felt. I don't blame you anymore. For a long time I did. I blamed you for leaving. I blamed you for changing. I blamed you for becoming distant when all I wanted was closeness. But now I think we were just two people carrying wounds we didn't know how to explain. Still, none of that changes the way music brings you back. Sometimes I'll hear a lyric that sounds exactly like something you once said to me, and suddenly, I'm no longer living in the present. I'm back in your car. Back in your apartment, back beside you under dim lights while the world outside disappeared for a while. Memories don't fade the way people claim they do. They evolve. They become softer in some places, and sharper in others. There are memories of you that still make me smile despite everything. Like the way you danced terribly whenever your favorite song came on. Or the way you would sing dramatically even when you forgot half the lyrics. Back then I thought those little moments would last forever. Now they survive only through music. I wonder if you know how deeply you affected me. Not just emotionally, but spiritually. You changed the way I experience silence. You changed the way I listen to songs. You changed the way I love. After you, every connection feels temporary. Every goodbye feels heavier. Every beautiful moment comes with fear attached to it, because now I know how quickly happiness can disappear. Maybe that's why your memory still lives inside melodies. Because music understands emotions words can't fully explain. There are feelings I could never tell you directly, feelings buried beneath pride, fear, and timing. But songs say them perfectly. They explain longing, regret, loneliness, hope, the unbearable ache of missing someone who's still alive but no longer yours. And sometimes that kind of pain feels worse than anything else, because there's no funeral for lost love. No final goodbye, just distance, silence, and memories playing repeatedly in your mind like unfinished songs. I used to think closure came from conversations, from explanations, from understanding why things ended. Now I think closure is learning how to hear someone's favorite song without breaking apart. And I'm still learning. Some nights are easier now. Some songs don't hurt as much anymore, but others still hit me unexpectedly, like waves I wasn't prepared for. Especially the slow songs, the ones filled with quiet emotion, the ones that sound like midnight conversations and unfinished love stories. Those songs still carry your shadow inside them. There are moments I miss you so deeply it physically hurts. Not because I need you back, but because I miss who I was when I loved you. I miss believing in forever without hesitation. I miss feeling understood without explaining myself constantly. You once made life feel less lonely. And after you left, loneliness became louder than ever. That's another reason music matters so much now. Songs keep me company in places where people can't. They sit beside me during sleepless nights. They understand the emotions I struggle to name. They remind me that heartbreak is universal. That somewhere out there, someone else is also sitting alone remembering someone they couldn't keep. Maybe that's why broken people connect so deeply with music. Because songs don't judge sadness. They simply hold it gently. And, every time I hear certain melodies, it feels like the universe is reopening chapters of us I tried desperately to close. I remember the last times I saw you clearly. You looked different somehow. Not physically, but emotionally distant. Like part of you had already left long before your body did. I remember trying to ignore that feeling, because I was terrified of losing you. Funny how the heart notices endings before the mind accepts them. If I could go back, I don't think I'd change loving you. Even knowing how painful this became, even knowing songs would haunt me afterward. Because loving you also gave me some of the most beautiful moments of my life. You taught me how deeply a soul can feel another soul. You taught me how powerful connection can be. You taught me that even temporary love can leave permanent marks on a person. And now those marks appear every time music starts playing. Sometimes I think the hardest part isn't missing you. It's missing the future we almost had, the trips we planned, the dreams we talked about at 2 a.m., the imaginary life we built together through conversations and promises. Songs bring those dreams back too. That's why healing takes so long, because you're not just grieving a person, you're grieving possibilities, versions of tomorrow that never happened. I wonder if you'd recognize me now. I've changed in quiet ways. I've become more careful with my heart, more guarded with emotions, more aware of how fragile happiness truly is. But one thing hasn't changed. Music still reminds me of you. No matter how much time passes, no matter how hard I try to move forward, no matter how many distractions I surround myself with, some loves don't leave completely, they simply become part of your emotional language. And maybe that's okay. Maybe not every love story is meant to end with people staying together. Maybe some people are meant to leave behind lessons, memories, and emotions that shape you forever. You shaped me forever. Now every time I hear certain songs, I don't just remember losing you, I remember loving you too, and despite all the pain attached to those memories, There's still something beautiful about having loved someone deeply enough that music itself refuses to let them disappear. Some people leave your life quietly, no screaming, no dramatic goodbye, no final moment that clearly tells you, this is the last time you'll ever feel this close to them. They just slowly disappear. The calls become shorter, the replies become colder, the distance grows silently between conversations that once felt endless. And one day, you wake up realizing the person who used to be part of your everyday life has somehow become a memory you can't touch anymore. That's the kind of heartbreak nobody prepares you for. Because when love ends quietly, your heart keeps searching for unfinished answers. A part of you still waits for their name to light up your phone. A part of you still believes maybe they'll come back once life becomes less complicated. But deep inside, you already know they're gone. And still, somehow, they remain everywhere, especially in music. It amazes me how songs can hold memories better than people do. Human beings forget things all the time. We forget dates, conversations, promises. But music remembers emotions perfectly. One melody can carry an entire relationship inside it. There are songs I used to hear casually before I met you. Songs that meant absolutely nothing. But after you, they became emotional landmines. Now every lyric feels connected to some version of us. One song reminds me of your laugh during late-night drives. Another reminds me of the way you stared out the window when you were overthinking. Another reminds me of dancing badly with you in the kitchen while pretending we had all the time in the world. That's what hurts the most about memories hidden inside melodies. They don't ask permission before returning. They arrive suddenly. In cafes, in stores, in empty rooms at midnight. And no matter how much healing you've done, for a few moments, it feels like the heartbreak becomes fresh again. I remember hearing one particular song while walking alone one evening. The sky was dark, the streets were crowded, and everyone around me seemed busy living their own lives. Then that song started playing from a nearby car. And suddenly, the entire world slowed down. I could see you again so clearly, your smile, your voice, the exact way your eyes softened whenever you looked at me during quiet moments. It felt unfair. How could someone who no longer belongs to my life still have this much power over my emotions? But love leaves fingerprints on everything, especially the things we once shared. Sometimes I wonder if you still remember me too. Maybe you hear those same songs and feel absolutely nothing now. Maybe you've already built a new life where my memory no longer exists. And honestly, that thought hurts more than the breakup itself, because while I've been trying to move forward, pieces of you still live inside my everyday life. You live inside random lyrics, inside old playlists, inside rainy nights and sleepless mornings. Inside every soft song that sounds like longing. People think moving on means forgetting. I don't think that's true anymore. I think moving on means learning how to live with memories that still visit you unexpectedly. It means hearing a song, connected to someone you once loved deeply, and surviving the emotions that come with it. But some nights are harder than others. Some nights the music feels too personal, too accurate, too aware of the things I never said out loud. And during those nights, I realized something painful. I never truly forgot you. I just became better at hiding the ache. There's a difference, because forgetting means someone no longer affects your soul. And if I'm honest, your absence still echoes inside me in ways I can't explain. Certain songs still make me stop whatever I'm doing. Certain melodies still make my chest feel heavy. Certain lyrics still sound like conversations we never finished. And maybe that's because real love never disappears cleanly, it lingers. Not always loudly, not always painfully, but quietly, deeply, patiently. Like a song playing softly in another room. I think that's why people become attached to music after heartbreak. Songs give emotions a place to live. They hold the sadness for us when carrying it alone becomes exhausting, because sometimes words fail. Sometimes, you can't explain missing someone without sounding weak. Sometimes you can't describe the emptiness left behind after losing a connection that once felt like home. But then a song plays. And suddenly everything makes sense. The loneliness, the regret, the nostalgia, the unbearable desire to relive moments that are already gone forever. I still remember the nights we stayed awake talking about the future like it was guaranteed. We spoke about dreams so confidently, as if life could never separate two people who loved each other deeply. Back then, forever sounded easy. Now forever sounds terrifying, because I know how quickly people can become strangers, and yet, even strangers can continue living inside your heart through music. That's the cruel beauty of memories. They don't die when relationships end. Sometimes, they grow stronger with absence. The less I see you, the more certain moments replay themselves inside my head. Your voice becomes clearer. Your smile becomes brighter. The small details I once overlooked suddenly become precious. Like the way you hummed songs without realizing it, or the way you would softly tap your fingers against the steering wheel while driving, or the way certain lyrics made you emotional, even when you pretended they didn't. Those tiny details stayed with me, and now they return every time music starts playing. I used to avoid sad songs after losing you. I thought they made healing harder. So I filled my days with distractions instead. Loud places, busy schedules, endless scrolling, conversations that meant nothing. But pain has a strange way of surviving distractions. Eventually, silence catches up to you. And, when silence finally arrives, the memories begin speaking again. That's when I understood something important. I wasn't grieving only the loss of you. I was grieving the version of myself that existed beside you, the softer version, the hopeful version, the version that believed love could last forever if two people cared enough. After heartbreak, people don't just lose relationships. They lose innocence too. Now I listen to songs differently. I pay attention to lyrics I once ignored. I understand emotions I never noticed before. Heartbreak changes your ears. Suddenly every love song sounds tragic, every slow melody feels personal, and maybe that's because pain makes people more honest with themselves. When you truly miss someone, even the smallest things become emotional. A familiar perfume, a street corner, a season, a song playing at the wrong moment, especially songs, because music doesn't simply remind us of people, it reminds us of feelings, and feelings are much harder to erase. I can forget conversations, I can forget dates, but I can't forget how you made me feel when we sat together, listening to music with no worries about tomorrow. Back then, life felt lighter. You made ordinary moments feel meaningful, even silence beside you felt comforting. Now silence feels empty, and maybe that's why I keep returning to music. Because songs are the closest thing I have to those emotions now. They recreate fragments of moments I'll never experience again. Some people move on quickly after love ends. I used to envy them. I wondered how they erased memories so easily. How they listened to old songs without emotional collapse. How they walked away without looking back, but maybe they weren't feeling less, maybe they were just hiding it better. Because when someone truly touches your soul, traces of them remain forever. Not always romantically, not always painfully, but permanently, like lyrics memorized without trying. Sometimes I catch myself smiling during songs that once made me cry. And that confuses me. How can something hurt and comfort you at the same time? Then I realized, the songs don't only remind me of losing you, they remind me that for a brief moment in life, I experienced something real, and real love changes people. Even when it ends. Maybe especially when it ends. There are nights I still imagine impossible things. Running into you, unexpectedly somewhere. Hearing our song, while you stand beside me again. Looking at each other, and silently understanding everything we never managed to say. But life rarely works like movies. Most love stories end quietly, without closure, without perfect explanations, without one final scene where everything suddenly makes sense. Instead, people simply carry memories alone, and sometimes those memories hide inside melodies for years. I think that's why certain songs feel immortal. Not because of the music itself, but because of the emotions attached to them. Songs become emotional time machines. They transport us back to people we once loved, places we once belonged, versions of ourselves we can never fully recover, and every time that happens, a small part of the heart breaks all over again. Still, I continue listening, because even though the memories hurt, they also remind me I was capable of loving deeply. In a world where so many people fear vulnerability, at least I know my heart was real. You were real to me, the late night talks were real, the laughter was real, the comfort was real, the dreams were real, and maybe that's why forgetting you completely was never possible. Some people leave physically, but emotionally, They stay hidden inside the soundtrack of your life. Every song becomes a doorway, every melody becomes a memory, every lyric becomes another reminder that once upon a time, someone existed who made your heart feel less alone.